This is a Sigma 8-16, the oh so succulent ultrawide for APS-C. This is a Sigma mc-11, the one adapter you never knew you needed. Add on the Sigma mc-11, et voila! This isn't just any review. This is a top. How's it going? My name's Tong. I'll be reviewing the Sigma 8-16's performance with the Sony mirrorless bodies. And to do that, I have the Sigma mc-11 adapter to adapt it onto. So for clarification, I'm not going to review the lens on its own, but its performance on the mirrorless bodies as an adapted lens. So I'll be touching on the form factor and most importantly, the autofocus in stills and video. So what I've been using this with so far are the A6000 and the A6400. Right, so let's start with the form factor. This combination is around the size of a 6-inch phone. So here's a side-by-side comparison with a Google Pixel 2 XL. I hope this gives you a rough idea of what to expect. Pretty big. The weight of it really overwhelms the A6000. But for the A6400 though, it balances out a lot better. The 8-16 isn't a officially supported lens by Sigma by any means, not listed on their website. If you want to know of the lenses that are supported, then do a Google search and you'll find the list on Sigma's website. I want to get the easiest out of the way first, and that's autofocus in video. So you're going to be left with manual focus, and if that's okay with you, then you're sorted. The good side is that when you mount this onto the lens, it doesn't do anything weird, doesn't freak out or anything, which is a good sign. And you might be asking me, well, does that really happen? Yes, it has happened. I actually ordered a
One eternity later.
So with stills, I'm going to go a bit more in depth as this does work. I'll talk about its performance on the 6400 first, and then I'll talk about the A6000 after. To show you how this performs, I set up a small still light and put the autofocus to work. We can see from the menu that single shot and continuous autofocus is available, whilst the automatic is grayed out. Touch focus performs relatively well. It isn't as fast as a native lens. It works pretty fine for most use cases. And the next thing is continuous autofocus. Since the single shot works so well, I figured continuous wouldn't have that much problem at all, and it really didn't. And then I wanted to test out the face and eye tracking. Since I mainly shoot portraiture, every single lens that I have to make sure that it can face track and eye track. So I started off with the small photo and tried the face tracking on there, moving it around, and it worked pretty fine. I was satisfied with that. And then I was noticing that the eye tracking wasn't coming on. So I kind of realized the photo was a bit too small, so I grabbed a bigger print. And to no surprise, eye tracking does actually work. This isn't how you and me would use the camera normally, right? So I want to do something a bit more erratic, something with a bit more movement to mimic how we'd use it in like real life. Since we were in quarantine at the time when I was doing all this footage, I just kind of, resorted to running around the garden for a bit and seeing how it performs there. It's not as snappy as a native lens, but it's fast enough to not annoy me. So overall, using this with the A6400, as a photographer, I do recommend getting this if you really love the ultra wide of the 8mm. So the next thing I wanted to try out is just trying to confuse it, trying to go like left, right, down, start, select. I think it did fairly well. I think it did fairly well for what it was. Right, I did mention earlier that I was going to talk about the A6000 after this, and this is why. When you mount it on the A6000, of course video is the same across the whole board, so you won't get autofocus with any of the Alpha Series bodies. So its performance on the A6000 is, how do I sum this up in a word? Quite terrible. So if you already have the A6000 and want to use this, my recommendation for you would be to 1. Use it in manual focus, or 2. Use any other body that isn't the A6000. And you'll be happy. Oh, and I forgot to mention, in low lights, it will vary depending on your body. So ideally, if you want to get the most out of this, use it in a well-lit environment, cause that's where it really shines. So that's it from me. Hope I've done enough to help you make the decision and answered any questions that you had. If you have any other questions, just leave them down in the comments below and then I'll get to them when I can. See you in the next video.